So I thought we'd take a minute and go over our newest shop project, appropriately named Project Timber. Timber is a 1967 Jeep Gladiator that came to our shop in a way a lot of other projects do. It was on its way to the scrapyard. We had a customer, it was a local guy, neighbor to the shop, wandered in and said, "Hey, I see you guys got a lot of old Jeeps out there, and I've got one that its next stop is we're gonna haul it in for scrap. So if you give me scrap price for it, I'd love to see something done with it at some point." And so I said, "Absolutely, what is it?" And he said, "67 Gladiator. It's got some sort of V8 in it. The clutch went out. It's just been sitting for years." So we brought it in, set it on the corner of the lot, and kind of waited for the right time. We had a couple of wheeling rigs at the time and knew that we were going to build it just like all the other projects that we have on deck. And then finally this year, after going a year without our shop TJ anymore, we decided that we wanted something to build together as a shop to kind of showcase a little bit of everybody's strengths. Also see it as a moment to learn some new things. So we've got a younger guy, Brennan, who shows a lot of interest in fab work, and he had some more time. We had the opportunity. Some of our shows were canceled this spring, so we thought, well, let's dive in and see what we can do. Let's make it a fun. The deal was we wanted to have something that could go wheeling, something that fit our character. The whole crew loves the outdoors. We love the North Woods of Wisconsin. We've kind of held that in some themes on some of our other projects. And of course, we like taking old projects or old vehicles and then giving them a new lease on life. Hence the whole Epic Willys adventure in our Northwoods Overlander, the 49 wagon that we did. And so we all kind of got together, chatted. I said, I think that Moab, this was before Moab got canceled. Moab's 3 weeks away. Let's put some 1-ton axles, some 40s, and just have some fun with it. And of course, that spiraled into a little bit more than the 3-week project, which we were thankful for. So quick rundown on the actual specs of the vehicle. Like I said before, it's a 1967 Gladiator pickup truck. It's a J2000. So the motor that came in that is a AMC 327, one of the earliest AMC V8s that they had out there. Very torquey, decent horsepower, pre-emissions. So when we saw 26,000 miles on the odometer, we were surprised because, of course, they didn't have the 6th digit there to, be 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 26 miles. And the more we jumped into it, though there was a lot of oil leaks and a lot of seals that were bad, they were just dried up. The motor was in excellent shape. A file of the points and a new cap and rotor, and it fired right up. One of the torqueest motors I think that I've driven in a long time for its age. The transmission that's moving that power around is a T18 4-speed tranny, and that's made it up to a Dana 20 transfer case. And then we shot that power down to the axles, which are the late 70s, early 80s Chevy 1-ton axles. It's a heavy truck, so as much as we were thinking about, maybe a spot for a winch or whatnot, it didn't seem feasible, and there wasn't a great spot to put it. So we went old school with a high lift and just D-ring shackles welded right to the frame ends as recovery points, and also a great spot to be able to hook a chain to and drag a log out if need be. So some of the parts and manufacturers that we went through and chose for this. For suspension, we went with Crown. Crown has some great repop leaf packs. We chose a Grand Wagoneer style because it was a little bit wider, a little bit longer than the factory, but it wasn't so long that we were going to have to completely remodify the frame and the hangers. We lucked out that the spring perches on the axles lined right up with the frame horns, so we were able to do a shackle reversal, which we called some new friends down at Barnes 4-Wheel Drive, and they hooked us up with all of the steering stuff, the high steer arm, the suspension tabs, the spring hangers, everything we were going to need to do to be able to weld on the new mounts for the Crown springs, as well as control the 40-inch tires turning left to right. To continue on the steering note, we hollered at Matt Hodges down from West Texas Off-Road, better known as Redneck Ram. They make a killer hydro assist steering setup that we've used on a ton of projects, and we knew that 40-inch tires with a 1967 power steering pump, we were going to need all the help that we could get. So new Saginaw box, rebuilt by them, ported for the hydro assist, and we got one of their hydraulic rams, mounted everything up, and it steers amazing. In those axles, we chose 513 gears, called up Brooke down at Revolution Gear, and put in new gear sets, new bearings, kind of got that all dialed in to be able to shoot that power out to the 40-inch XMTs from Yokohama. Tried and true, man. There's a lot of tires out there, and we've tried them all. I want to say maybe there's a few that we haven't, but we've been nothing but pleased with the Yokohama tires and the XMTs. They just bite. They just get it done. For wheels, we tried something a little different. When we think of TerraFlex, we think of suspension, we think of shocks. They're awesome Falcon shocks that they came out with a few years back. Their wheels, their air down feature on their wheels caught our eye. Not only does it have a port for airing your tires up, but then it also has a port that you can set to a PSI, so you can just quarter turn crank and air your tires down. You don't have to mess with an extra tool or losing the valve core. So that's pretty much it. I guess as far as controlling the springs that we got from Crown, we did choose to go with Gladiator shocks, not the Gladiator like we have, but the JT Gladiator shock that Falcon makes. We thought that would be kind of a fun play, and they worked great. We had to make our own mounts and kind of modify things a little bit, but their 2.5-inch lifted shock worked really well for our application. We just, of course, had to dial it in a little bit. From there, we're going to go on to the lights. Again, tried a new company out, SYLVANIA lighting. You know, we've used their stuff in a lot of our generator repair and headlight upgrades or bulb upgrades, but they came out with a whole LED line, and again, like tires, the market has a lot of LED options out there, but what we really liked was their work lights. They had some really slim options for work lights. They had nice, small, powerful little 3-inch pods that were perfect for rock lights for a big truck like this. They also had a really cool slim, they come in many different sizes. We use the 10 and the 20, just slim spotlight light bars. You can hardly see them. We've got one tucked up underneath the bumper and then 2 tucked up on either sides of the box to be able to shine reverse or our tailgater lights. And then that timber theme, you know, we took that to the box of the truck. Again, out in the woods, whether it's needing extra fuel for saws, called to our friends at Renegade Fuel. Our buddy Phil down there, he kind of got on board with us and he sent us a fuel tank or a fuel barrel, and we mocked that up to be our fuel tank, and we've got an auxiliary spigot to be able to fill up an extra fuel can. Are we starting a logging company? No, but if we do, we're set. So it's been fun. It's cool to kind of see it come together in that regard, and can't thank enough for all these guys that make all these awesome parts and get behind us when we have some crazy idea to use their parts in a way that's not necessarily meant to be. On the interior, we took out the stock gauge cluster, cleaned it up a bit. Tommy did a little bit of artwork on that, kind of give it a little timber theme as well as the door panels on the inside. We made a custom switch panel. We used pull chains that we're going to be putting little laser engraved wood tags that will label what each switch does on the interior. We've got a hoop and a cage system to be able to mount the seats and kind of protect the cab in case, a tree falls on it or something. I think that we've got some ideas to kind of really dress up the interior and make it kind of cool. Thanks for checking out Timber. Got any questions, feel free to holler.